75% of all cross-functional teams are dysfunctional, reads the title of an article in the Harvard Business Review in June 2015. Yet, cross-functional collaboration is one of the 8 disciplines that Dr. Lyndon Brown and his team at Market Culture Strategies identified as the foundational pillars of strong customer culture. And since we consider strong customer culture as a mandatory precursor for consistently good customer experiences, we see a wide gap when it comes to collaboration. My name is Teugels, and I am the CEO of Market Culture Europe. Together, we will take a short but deep dive into the cross-functional collaboration gap and answer 3 questions. Why is the collaboration gap there in the first place? Why is it so persistent? And what can we do about it? Let me first share a definition of a cross-functional team. It is a temporary group of people with a clear purpose representing various functions or disciplines in the organization, whose combined efforts are necessary for achieving the team's complex purpose. The word that appears twice in the definition is purpose, albeit with 2 different adjectives, precise and complex. What does this benchmark picture tell you about this real company's purpose that seems to excel in cross-functional collaboration? They are in the 65th percentile for cooperation and in the 26th percentile for strategic alignment. To make it more interesting, I will share another of the 8 disciplines, empowerment. The company is in the 72nd percentile. Reflect on these assessment outcomes for a short while, and then answer 2 questions. First, do you think the employees in this company are happy? Second, do you think they have a clear understanding of where their company is heading? I can tell you firsthand that the employees are happy, and that its senior leadership invested a lot of time and effort to create a cohesive team. However, I can also claim that these happy employees have no clue about their strategic direction. When asked what precisely their company does, the number of different answers equals the number of employees. With a lack of strategic direction, however, the team's primary purpose becomes a happy collaboration. In this company's case, which I profoundly researched, its employees interpreted the words co-creation and together differently. While senior leaders thought of these words as synonyms, for the employees, together meant among ourselves. In their minds, co-creation was something that involved the customers. Customers were not part of these employees' work culture. Which brings us to the first question we seek to answer. Why is the collaboration gap there in the first place? The gap exists because of cross-functional teams' own characteristics. The 4 features are functional diversity, information ambiguity, task complexity, and multiple reporting. By definition, cross-functional team members have different personalities, cultures, professional jargon, and often other task responsibilities and reward systems. The team members clash over different vocabularies, rewards for different objectives, and stereotyping. We must never forget the power of individual self-concern and self-esteem, the primary causes of in-group favoritism. Simply put, people have a natural tendency to favor similar people and dislike others. The others are the out-group, and the in-group provides security for the individual member. The out-group means danger. Within the same organization, a member of marketing considers her team as her in-group. To her, a member of engineering belongs to the out-group that she can barely understand. Now please raise your hands if you have ever witnessed a discussion between colleagues from business and IT. How much finger-pointing went on? How well did they understand each other? Another characteristic of a cross-functional team is that it is temporary. Once the team achieves its complex purpose, dismantlement awaits. Now, some thrive on this succession of different challenges. But if you are an employee craving for stability and security, how engaged would you be in a temporary cross-functional team? Let me ask you another question. How many of you work for an organization that hires external cross-functional teams or team members to get a complicated job done? In other words, how many of your organizations outsource cross-functional collaboration? The article I mentioned at the beginning cites 5 reasons for cross-silo collaboration dysfunctionality. The first three are not meeting planned budget, not staying on schedule, not adhering to specifications. The last two are not meeting customers' expectations and not maintaining alignment with the company's corporate goals. According to the author, Benham Tabrizi, a cross-functional team is dysfunctional when it fails on at least 3 of these 5 criteria. Now, I dare to argue that only 2 bars matter: customer expectations and corporate goals. Budget, schedule, and specifications are executables defined by corporate goals, aligned with customer expectations. Of course, failing to execute on time, within budget, and within specs harm the company, but failing to capture customer expectations and aligning corporate goals with them is the surefire way out for businesses, no matter how operationally excellent you are. So the answer to the first question is as follows. The collaboration gap exists because of the diversity characteristic of cross-functional teams and the lack of an overarching purpose that begins with the customer. What I am saying should sound very familiar to those of you who are acquainted with the work of the late Peter Drucker. But let us tackle the second question. Why is the collaboration gap so persistent? Why does it remain so difficult to create effective and efficient cross-functional teams? When I refer to the HBR article that dates back to 2015, people often frown and challenge me, telling me that it is all news. In today's fast-paced world, things must have progressed. Indeed, they have, and they have moved very fast. Nowadays, globalization and digitalization require people to collaborate across functional boundaries and national borders. Yet large-scale research published last year concludes that it remains, and I am quoting the authors here, devilishly difficult to break down silos, unquote. It is worth repeating, devilishly difficult. At the same time, most leaders recognize the importance of breaking down silos to collaborate across boundaries. I believe this conclusion answers the second question. The collaboration gap is persistent because it is incredibly tricky to break down silos. To understand why, you have to look at the relationships, human relationships to be precise. Which relationships get prioritized in your day-to-day work? That is a question that Tiziano Casciaro, Amy Edmondson, and Suijan Zhang asked managers, engineers, salespeople, and consultants in companies around the globe. Their answers were nearly unanimous. They're vertical relationships. Put in another way, relationships inside silos get prioritized. And there we are, trying to provide end-to-end customer experiences that transcend functional silos. And we know that more often than not, we are failing. Because when the researchers ask the same people which relationships are most important for creating value for customers, their answer flips. The horizontal relationships, the interpersonal connections across silos should be their priority. For that is the only way to deliver the integrated solution today's customers want. So the answer to question 2, namely, why is the collaboration gap so persistent, is that vertical relationships get prioritized. And they get prioritized because people cannot identify expertise outside their own work domains. They have a hard time grasping the paradigms of those who think differently. Which brings us to the last question. What can we do about it? By now, it should be clear to all of you that cross-functional collaboration is cultural. It is cultural for a straightforward reason. Namely, everyone in the business, consciously or not, contributes toward the delivery and maintenance of value for customers. Remember the company we discussed earlier? Although they scored high on collaboration, they missed a crucial point. It is also true that their collaborative strength often outperforms their competitors. But the fact that they missed the vital point by not having customers as a part of their work culture makes their successes non-contributors to corporate strategy. Unless you agree with Frederic Laloux, who posits that strategy is an evolutionary process that requires no planning, except in a few extraordinary circumstances, not having a shared strategic direction harms the company, and therefore also the customer. And not putting primary customers Defined by Peter Fader as a select group of customers who unlock the most value for your organization in the center of your strategy, is lethal in a customer experience economy. Consistently successful cross-functional teams exhibit customer-centric behavior. Joint projects to simplify customers' processes, storytelling sessions of customer experiences to share best practices are just two examples of customer-centric behavior. It is a behavior that creates a multiplier effect on performance, and one that results in higher customer satisfaction, innovation, new product success, sales growth, and profitability than your customers. The good news is that there is an answer to what you can do about the collaboration gap. Another research by Sui-Jeng Zhang found the type of person who makes cross-functional teams significantly outperform other cross-functional teams. Professor Zhang named this person the cultural broker, an individual who promotes cross-boundary work either by being a bridge or an adhesive. More good news is that in most companies, there are people who excel in inter-based collaboration. So organizations should identify these individuals and help them increase their impact. But external cultural brokers can be just as effective. The marketing and sales groups of Moët Hennessy in Spain had a history of miscommunication and conflict. To put an end to this unproductive behavior, the company brought in two wine experts because they could relate to both groups equally and to the customer's world. The key word here is relate. You may find it difficult to relate to an expert in, for instance, sound engineering when you are a billing and dunning expert, but both should be able to relate to the relationship your customers have with your brand. The relationship your customers have with your brand then becomes the object with which all employees can connect. No matter one's role, every person in the company can consider how their work impacts their customers' relationship with their brand. The 5 actions you can take to create winning cross-functional teams are: create and empower cultural brokers, value inquisitiveness, and teach employees how to ask the right questions, encourage people to see the world through the eyes of others, train people how to walk in someone else's shoes, and embrace diversity. It is a fact that well-oiled cross-functional teams deliver better performances because of their diversity. And that is why these teams always win. I believe I also highlighted the reason why they are so rare. However, the most potent of teams are customer-centric cross-functional teams. They share knowledge, ideas, and resources openly. They have cross-collaboration mechanisms in place. They solve problems cross-functionally, and they excel in culture brokerage. Most importantly, regardless of role or function, employees share a belief that what is best for customers is best for the company and themselves. In the beginning, I said I was going to answer 3 questions. 1, why is the collaboration gap there in the first place? 2, why is it so persistent? And 3, what can we do about it? The collaboration gap, or the extent to which teams are removed from cross-functionally facilitating the emergence of good customer experiences, exists because of a tendency to form in-groups and favor them. The gap is persistent because vertical relationships get prioritized. Closing the gap is possible by embracing diversity and sharing the overarching purpose of creating value for the customers. Building a strong customer culture is the mandatory precursor for consistently good customer experiences. Now let me end by busting a myth. Happy employees lead to happy customers. Not only does this presuppose a one-way relationship, but the dominant direction of the relationship also runs the other way around, as demonstrated by Dr. Ola Hermans. A customer's extra role behavior, customer satisfaction, and customer feedback positively impact the employee's customer-centric behavior and engagement and happiness. Make the customer a part of your cross-functional teams. They are in a unique position to contribute to your company. A warm thank you for your time and your attention, and please feel free to reach out and connect with me. And to all the customer-centric practitioners and experts out there, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.